Welcome back to Blockbuster Review. We're deeply grateful to you, our loyal viewers, for joining us on our journey to 1 million subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated on our latest videos. All right, let's dive in. The second game ends with 79 eliminated, pushing the total prize to 34.8 billion won. Noticing Sang-woo finish the task swiftly, Ji-hoon grows uneasy, feeling his old friend is up to something shady. Back to Cop Wong, after infiltrating the organization, he witnesses the brutal killings and the group's corpse disposal. There's more. Junho learns his circle mask marks the lowest rank with no free movement. Luckily, during the honeycomb game, a staff member is overpowered by a player, ending with a bullet. Quickly grabbing the square mask, Junho gains managerial authority, avoiding scrutiny. So by day, he probes with the square mask, at night reverting to the circle mask, sleeping in room 29. Yet something odd happens. Every night, Junho hears coughing from room 28 next door. Turns out it's Morse code, and the real player 29 is part of a secret group. Comprising a few members, they also hire player 111. These men nightly harvest organs from intact corpses, shipping them off the island for sale. Player 111, a former doctor, aids the staff. In return, he's tipped off about the next game's details. Forced to pose as number 29, Junho must join the organ trafficking ring. But pause there. Before tomorrow's game, the organizers prepare a special minigame. They aim to stir conflict among players. Managers order less food rations than usual, enticing thugs like the tattooed man and his crew to cut in line for extra servings. Outraged, a player who missed out demands his share, only to be beaten to death. Strangely, despite killing in front of cameras, the thug faces no consequences. That's when they realize they can take out others at night to reduce competition in the next game. So, when night falls in dim light, a bloody battle erupts. Anticipating the chaos, Ji-hoon's group quickly bands together for mutual support. Sang-woo and Ali are both strong, making the Sangwon-dong crew untouchable to most. In contrast, the Thugs gang takes the offensive. They hunt down the weak or solitary to cut down the player count. The thug targets Se-byok over old grudges, but is thwarted when Ji-hoon protects her. As noted, Ji-hoon's nature is kind, always hoping everyone can win together. The battle ends when player Nakroy-1 begs for peace, just as the armed staff storms in. The minigame officially closes with massive casualties, and the piggy bank fills with more cash. Realizing being alone is a disadvantage, larger groups form. Aligned with the thug now known as Jang Deok-soo is the woman with the lighter Han Min-yo and the organ-harvesting doctor. Indeed, he uses his info to join their ranks. Min-yo, though not brilliant, secures Deok-soo's protection through intimacy. In contrast, Ji-hoon's team bonds through trust. After facing life and death together, they share names for easier communication. The pickpocket girl reveals her name as Se-byok. The old man forgetful remains player 001 for now. Pledging mutual support, the group confidently enters the third game tug of war. The rules are standard, with each team having 10 members. Knowing the challenge's nature, Deok-soo's team gathers 10 burly men. He reveals his true colors, kicking Min-yo out since women in tug of war would be a burden. Desperate, she somehow joins Ji-hoon's team. Plus, Se-byok, unsure who else to recruit, invites a strange girl, forming the Sangwon-dong lineup, with 3 women, an absent-minded old man, and 2 men over 40. Sang-woo initially objects, wanting to cut members, but Ji-hoon disagrees. The tougher the game, the more we see the protagonist's compassion. The contest begins on a platform built high above the ground, split into 2 sides, both chained to the rope. Whichever team pulls the other 10 into the deadly abyss wins. That's the victory. Dominating in every way, Deok-soo, the doctor, and their thug crew unleash terrifying strength, pulling their opponents to screams of despair. Falling from the height of a building to the ground, the first 10 die in pieces. Seeing the grim outcome, Ji-hoon's team trembles. Worse, they draw an equally strong opponent. On the way to the arena, hope seems lost, until player 01 speaks up despite his age and frailty. In return, he's confident he knows all the skills a weaker team needs to win. So, when the rope tightens, the situation shocks all players. Per the strategy, the lineup places Ji-hoon at the front, representing the steadiest psyche. Ali, with greater strength, anchors the end. The rest stagger and lower their center of gravity as much as possible to channel all force into the rope. When the signal gunshot rings, the team just needs to hold for 10 seconds, rattling the opponents, then counter-attacking. With unity and scientific tactics, Ji-hun's team pulls, leaving the other side rattled. Just a bit more and victory is theirs. But this is pure sport, and strength still decides. Regaining composure, the 10 burly opponents aren't pushovers, slowly reclaiming control and pulling Ji-hun's group back. Luckily, the Sangwon-dong prodigy devises a daring plan. Sang-woo shouts for everyone to step forward 3 paces together, causing the other side to lose balance and tumble back. Seizing the moment before the opponents regroup, the team pulls hard once more. The 10 Hulks caught off guard are dragged into the abyss. A brilliant move dodging Death's grip, Ji-hun's group collapses, savoring the hard-fought win. Yet the guilt is heavy, unlike the previous 2 games. Ji-hun and his teammates have now killed with their own hands. Speaking of the fallen bodies, Cop Junho notices. The organ traffickers mark their chosen victims with blood-drawn crosses on coffin lids, then secretly avoid disposal. Forced to pose as number 29 Junho must transport the goods off the island. To reach the beach, 28 and 29 sneak through a small tunnel to the sea. This is actually an escape route for VIP clients we'll discuss later. Oxygen tanks are ready here, and on the island's far side, the trafficker's boat waits. But things start to unravel. First, the doctor fumes as the soldiers double-cross him. Since the next game is secret even to staff, he can't get the usual heads up, knowing that playing blind is a death sentence. The doctor flees but can't escape. Causing chaos on the field, both the doctor and the organ traffickers are caught and killed by the leader. He claims he doesn't care about the secret organ trade, but cheating in a fair life-or-death game is unforgivable. On the other side, Junho plays his hand. The angry cop presses a gun to number 28's head for answers. The reason he overheard talk of a corpse missing a kidney matching his missing brother's traits. Luckily, the corpse number 28 mentioned is female, keeping the young cop's hopes alive. Thankfully, the body number 28 mentioned was female, keeping the young cop's hopes alive, to save his life. Number 28 revealed a secret passage to the leader's office, where the full list of players was stored. Tough luck for him after getting the info. Junho still put a bullet in the organ trafficker for his crimes, then broke into the black masked leader's room. The place was dripping with luxury, and sure enough, a massive archive held the complete list of players. Turns out this organization has been running for 30 years, with thousands having played these deadly games. By chance spotting the names of past winners, Junho was stunned to learn his brother was the 2015 victor. Back to the main story, after the grueling tug-of-war, Ji-hun's group decided to push their beds close together, assigning 2 people to take turns keeping watch to prevent sabotage from other groups. Here, the bonds between the members grew even stronger. Ali and Sang-woo shared personal stories, while Ji-hun opened up to player 001 about his past. Years ago, he was a factory worker at an auto plant and joined a protest after being laid off without notice. Even now, the images of his colleagues being beaten by police are seared into Ji-hun's mind. Those events shaped his life in profound ways. Se-yebyok kept proving her tough exterior was just a shield against the harshness of life. Deep down, she was a kind-hearted girl. A rare, peaceful night passed until the usual blaring siren, and staff stormed in, signaling the next game was about to start. This time without the doctor who knew the games in advance, Deok-soo grew visibly nervous. Seeing the organ traffickers' bodies hung up as a warning only heightened the thugs' panic. After tug-of-war required teams of 10 this time, the staff forced players to pair up in 2s. As usual, the thug grabbed his strongest henchman, and a calculating Sang-woo chose Ali over Ji-hun. As noted behind Sang-woo's glasses lurked unpredictable thoughts. With everyone pairing with the strongest, Se-byok was left out in the cold. Reluctantly, she teamed up with the odd girl she'd recruited for tug-of-war. This player was peculiar. She often sat alone, indifferent to those around her, and seemingly uninterested in the prize. She vowed to help Se-byok win at all costs. The 2 girls shook hands and stepped into the next game. That left Ji-hun as the only one without a partner. That's not entirely true, since everyone knew he was capable. But what weighed on Ji-hun was player 01 sitting in the corner. Old, frail, and forgetful, no one would want to pair with him. Did Ji-hun want to win? Absolutely. Yet after some thought, he pointed to his old friend, and they entered the game together. As for Minyo, betrayed by the thug, she was the only player left unpaired, and was dragged off by the guards. They were taken to narrow alleys set up like an ordinary neighborhood where the 4th challenge room felt deceptively simple, and the game as usual was hauntingly familiar. Each player was given 10 marbles, and had to win 10 from their partner without using force. That's right, everyone was floored to learn pairing up meant facing off as opponents. All strategies collapsed. Sang-woo and Ali ended up playing an odd or even marble guessing game, where the winner took the wagered marbles. Skilled at mental games, Sang-woo grew anxious when it came down to pure chance. Luck kept favoring the kind-hearted Ali, who guessed the number of marbles in Sang-woo's hand, time after time. Down to his last marble, Sang-woo refused to accept defeat and turned to dirty tricks against Ali. When intimidation failed, he resorted to begging Ali, reminding Ali of past favors to soften him. Sang-woo argued that with so many pairs, some matches would surely end in a stalemate within the 30-minute limit. Then the organizers would pair them for a team game, meaning Ali and Sang-woo could both survive. Of course, it was a complete lie, but Ali was too kind and couldn't bring himself to turn on a teammate who'd fought beside him. In the end, the young Pakistani was the one eliminated. Grabbing a handful of pebbles and swapping them for Ali's bag, Sang-woo quickly handed it to the supervisor. He didn't use force, and the rules didn't specify how to take marbles. Dumping out 19 marbles now, just a pile of pebbles, Ali's face showed sheer terror. The gunshot that followed ended the life of the honest young man. The next to pull a fast one like Sang-woo was Deok-soo. At first, the thug guessed wrong in the odd or even game and seemed to have a gun to his head. His henchmen quickly turned on him, celebrating a victory that seemed imminent. But since the rules allowed any game, Deok-soo demanded a switch. He dug a hole in the ground, and both had to flick their marbles into it. Whoever succeeded would take all the marbles the other missed. The two thugs competed in flicking marbles, and Deok-soo won by sheer luck when his henchman hit his marble and knocked it into the hole. Unlike the scheming duo above, Ji-hoon faced a tougher issue with the old man's worsening memory loss. During the game, he'd sometimes wander off forgetting why he was there. His slow pace and the ticking clock made Ji-hoon anxious. Even when they finally played seriously, Ji-hoon couldn't win. As if he could see through him, the old man guessed every bet correctly, leaving Ji-hoon crushed with just one marble left. Then Ji-hoon realized he could exploit the old man's spotty memory. If he guessed wrong, he could just switch his answer to the right one, since the old man couldn't even recall how many marbles he held. So by less than honest means, Ji-hoon turned the tables and took 19 marbles. Torn up inside, he had no choice since he couldn't die there. No one could have guessed the old man would hand over his last marble himself. Turns out he was fully aware and only pretended to be fooled. Before the game, they'd promised to be Ganbu true partners, a term for close friends and loyal teammates. Now facing off, he kept his promise, giving Ji-hoon all his marbles. He thanked Ji-hoon for always treating him kindly for teaming up despite the life-or-death stakes. Winning with bitter tears, Ji-hoon walked away filled with regret. A gunshot rang out behind, signaling the loser's end. From that moment, something in him truly changed. Finally, to close a blood-soaked day, Sae-byuk and player 240's story was no less tragic. Unlike other pairs, they waited until the last 3 minutes, then bet everything on a single round. In the remaining time, they sat together sharing life stories. As her carefree demeanor suggested, player 240, now known as Ji-young, didn't care about the prize. She'd just gotten out of prison for killing her father, who had murdered her mother. Feeling a connection, Sae-byuk opened up, saying she wanted to see the beauty of Jeju Island. "All right, if we get out, let's go to Jeju together." The two girls spoke as if they were still free. Time passed, and soon the clock hit 3 minutes. They bet on a simple game: whoever threw their marble farthest would win. Ji-young brought tears to Sae-byuk and viewers alike by dropping her marble straight to the ground, intentionally losing. Keeping her promise from forming their team, she did whatever it took for Sae-byuk to win. A budding friendship ended abruptly, as Ji-young said goodbye with a smile, then took the bullet in Sae-byuk's unbearable anguish. That day, half the players were eliminated, and the winners' faces showed no trace of joy. Back to the Kop Jun-ho, he found the real number 29's body washed ashore. The black-masked leader knew a spy was among them. Still, he couldn't act as he was busy preparing to host VIPs coming to watch the 5th game live. Wearing tight animal masks, it was clear these were ultra-wealthy people betting on which player would die first for entertainment. Ushered into a lavish private room with a direct view of the arena, it was like the horse racing from the first episode. Now Ji-hoon was the horse of plaything for those who saw his life as worthless. Even more tragic, during a break, one player couldn't handle the pressure and used a blanket to end their life. In the marble game, he'd been paired with his own wife, and her fate needs no further explanation. Ironically, Minho, who wasn't paired, survived without a hitch. The game's organizers clearly toyed with human lives. With heavy steps, they moved to the 5th game, still facing cryptic preludes. The 16 remaining players had to pick their order numbers, fearing the lead, but also wary of being last. Most scrambled for the middle numbers. With options gone, Ji-hun had to choose between Vest Player 1 and Player 16. He initially picked Player 1, but a guy begged to go first, so Ji-hun reluctantly entered the game as the last in line. A glass bridge with 2 lanes appeared. The 5th game's rules weren't overly complex. One by one, players followed their vest order, choosing left or right. One side was tempered glass, able to hold 2 players. The other was regular glass, sure to shatter, leading to a fatal fall. Whoever crossed the bridge won. A pure luck game with 50-50 odds. In a stroke of fortune, picking the last vest number nearly guaranteed Ji-hoon's victory. Choosing a lane depended on the 15 players ahead. The sound of breaking glass echoed as the first unlucky players fell. Some managed 1 or 2 steps, with the math teacher impressively making 3. But crossing the entire bridge by luck alone was nearly impossible. They knew continuing meant certain death. Deok-soo resorted to his specialty, violence. Refusing to jump, he boldly declared either those behind him go first, risking their lives, or he'd stand his ground until time ran out, dragging everyone to their doom. Chaos erupted as Deok-soo was strong and had killed plenty. Among them, only Minho was fearless, betrayed and shunned time and again. In the end, her sharp tongue led to a drastic choice. Clinging to her enemy, Minho gripped tight and jumped backward. No one knows what drove her to give up, but she stayed true to her word to kill the one who betrayed her trust. A shocking death for both Deok-soo and his lover. From 16 players, only Sang-woo Se-byuk and a strange man remained. Unlike the others, this man had a unique skill. Having worked in a glass factory for over 30 years, he could tell regular glass from tempered by how light reflected. Lucky to have an expert, they sped toward victory, just 1 panel from winning. But the VIPs found it too easy and complained of boredom, forcing the leader to change the rules, turning off all the lights. Now no one could tell regular glass from tempered. Seeing time slip away, Sang-woo grew impatient. At that very moment, in front of everyone, he confirmed Ji-hoon's suspicions about his true nature. He pushed the glassworker to find the right path. Sang-woo revealed his true face as someone who'd stop at nothing. Jumping the final step just before time ran out, all the glass panels exploded. Ending the 5th game as usual with betrayal, blood, and death. The journey neared its end with Ji-hoon, Sang-woo, and Se-byuk as the final 3. In the VIP room, Junho knocked out a worker and blended in to secretly record. While doing so, a VIP took notice of him, making a pass at him for the night. The billionaire didn't realize he'd propositioned a cop. Junho beat him and forced him to spill everything about the inhumane game. With enough evidence, Junho escaped through the old route. He grabbed diving gear and fled the island, but the leader wasn't far behind, sending troops to pursue. In the end, he cornered Junho on the shore and captured him. Pushing the cop to the cliff's edge, a shocking truth was revealed. Removing the black mask, Junho couldn't believe his eyes, seeing his long-lost brother. Everything now fell into place. The business card in his brother's room, the reason he won in 2015 but never returned. He chose to stay with the organization, aiding these sick games, their eyes filled with hatred. Junho shot his brother in the shoulder and he fired back. Junho fell off the cliff and his storyline ended there. Back to the 3 main players after seeing what Sang-woo did, Ji-hoon couldn't stay silent. He believed the man was about to jump, and just a few more seconds could have saved all 4. But Sang-woo said meddling in others' business was why Ji-hoon never amounted to anything, always a failure. If it were, Ji-hoon would Sang-woo have pushed Ji-hoon's retort left. Sang-woo speechless. That was the difference between them, and only in dire straits did their true selves emerge. Se-byuk stayed out of the brothers' fight as she had a more pressing issue to deal with. During the glass explosion, a shard had pierced her stomach, a major setback especially with the final game approaching. At that moment, the staff burst in announcing the 3 would be treated to a lavish dinner to celebrate surviving 5 challenges. Dressed in sharp suits, they faced juicy steaks, something they hadn't tasted in ages. But the real intent came later. While clearing the plates, the staff deliberately left a knife, and all 3 sighed, knowing they'd have to use it as a weapon tomorrow. As night fell, no one slept. Noticing Se-byok's exhausted look and her untouched food, Ji-hun checked on her. He also proposed they team up. Se-byok agreed, knowing Ji-hun was a good man willing to split the prize if they won. The only problem was Sang-woo, with a knife in hand, who knew what he was capable of. But this time, luck smiled on Ji-hun. Glancing over, he caught Sang-woo dozing off a chance to kill his old friend right then. Tomorrow, they could work together to pass the next game without fear of betrayal. But Se-byok stopped him, saying just one thing: he wasn't the type to do that. She was right. No matter how desperate, Ji-hun would never kill with a knife. With a weary sigh, Se-byok made Ji-hun promise that whoever survived would care for the other's family, then suddenly fainted. Only then did Ji-hun realize Se-byok was injured, rushing to bang on the door for the staff. And the young girl met a cold end at the hands of the staff. Sang-woo woke up, snuck to Se-byok's bed with a knife and a stab to her artery, took her life silently in her coma. Sang-woo knew Ji-hun would stop the game to save Se-byok. And if that happened, no one would get the prize. Screaming in agony, Ji-hun grabbed the knife, vowing Sang-woo would never take a cent out of there. The final act had begun. With eyes full of nothing but hatred, the pride and disappointment of Sang-won face it off in a life-or-death battle. Once kids playing together, it now forced them back to the playground. Facing each other in blood-stained suits, the lines on the ground mirrored the first episode. The final challenge was the Squid game, the kids' game from the series' opening scene. The rules were clear. Ji-hun chose the attacking side, hunting Sang-woo directly. At first, the attacker had to hop on one foot and could only run normally after passing the squid's body. Knowing the game from childhood, Ji-hun grabs a handful of dirt, throws it in Sang-woo's face, and seizes the moment to dash past. Standing firm on the ground, the Squid game now boils down to one brutal rule: a knife fight to the death. Fueled by raw fury, Ji-hun charges forward like a beast, no longer caring about the prize. Sang-woo matches his intensity, gripping the knife tightly, ready to fight his old friend to the death. A grim rain pours from the sky as if mourning, while on the ground, puddles are stained red with blood. Ji-hun tackles Sang-woo to the ground, but Sang-woo strikes back, seizing his friend's knife. The battle rages fiercely until Sang-woo's sharp mind and strong physique start to dominate, stabbing Ji-hun in the thigh and pinning him down. Sang-woo is inches from victory. But nothing can stop a man driven to madness. Ji-hun takes a knife wound to the hand, then bites a chunk of flesh from Sang-woo's leg. He flips his friend over, unleashing a barrage of furious punches. Screaming in agony, Sang-woo collapses, exhausted, awaiting death. Yet at the critical moment, Ji-hun's heart softens. He plunges the knife into the ground, stands up, and walks toward the prize. Inside, the VIPs nod in approval at the gripping fight. The game's outcome now clear. Shockingly, just before stepping into the squid's head circle, Ji-hun pauses. He knows that if he wins, Sang-woo will be eliminated, meaning a bullet to the head. "I'm done," Ji-hun tells the game master, pleading to end the game so both can leave alive. The piggy bank holding 45 billion won is within his grasp. But Ji-hun proves that after all the bloodshed, his humanity won't let him abandon his friend. Stunned, moved, and overwhelmed with regret, Sang-woo's tears mix with the pouring rain. He reaches for the knife on the ground and drives it into his own throat. Leaving behind belated apologies, Sang-woo dies in Ji-hun's arms as the silent room and the glass piggy bank signal the game's end, with only one survivor. Return to reality with a credit card holding 45.6 billion won. Ji-hun trudges home with heavy steps, meeting Sang-woo's mother. He's speechless and learns the devastating news that his own mother has succumbed to diabetes complications. All his hopes dissolve like sea foam, leaving Ji-hun with nothing but a fortune reeking of blood. Despairing. For the next year, Ji-hun lives like a hollow shell of himself. He withdraws just 10,000 yen from the prize once and never touches it again, with unkempt hair and vacant eyes. It seems his life ended with the game. Yet another invitation arrives, following the address. Ji-hun is shocked to find player 001, now revealed as Oh Il-nam, lying in a hospital bed in a lavish building. A staggering truth comes to light. It turns out he's the mastermind behind Squid Game, the boss of the black-masked leader. All 6 challenges were drawn from Oh Il-nam's childhood memories, and he joined the players to relive lost joys. With endless wealth, Nothing buying, eating, drinking satisfies. Oh Il-nam sighs, dismissing the deaths of hundreds as mere entertainment. Furious, Ji-hun wants to throttle this monster and force out every secret. But Oh Il-nam challenges him to one final game predicting human kindness, pointing to an unconscious man on the street. He bets no one will help by midnight, despite all the deaths he's witnessed. Ji-hun believes in human compassion, and both stake their ideals on the outcome. The clock ticks as passersby ignore the man. Ji-hun grows anxious, but at the last moment, when hope seems lost, a passerby calls the police to aid the stranger. Ji-hun wins, a narrow victory proving that even in the darkest moments, kindness endures. Before he can celebrate, Ji-hun turns to find Oh Il-nam has taken his last breath. No one knows what he truly thought, who he was, or what he planned with this inhumane game. He dies without even knowing if he won or lost, as enigmatic in death as in life. Player 001 takes his secrets to the grave. The seventh game with Oh Il-nam jolts Ji-hun awake. He visits a barber, cleans up, dyes his hair bright red, and resolves to honor his fallen comrade's promises. He withdraws a large sum, finds Se-byok's little brother, and frees him from an orphanage. He entrusts the boy to Sang-woo's mother, giving them a suitcase of money for a comfortable life. As for himself, he buys a plane ticket to America to see his daughter. In the end, she's the only family Ji-hun has left. It could have ended there, but at the subway station, Ji-hun spots a suited man luring debtors into a paper-flipping game, chasing, but too late. Ji-hun snatches the business card the man gave out, warning the recipient never to call the number. Sitting dazed at the airport, driven by instinct, Ji-hun picks up the phone. Here, Squid Game delivers its final twist as the protagonist skips his flight and signs up to return to the island. Determined to expose the animal-masked figures and the true mastermind behind the deadly game, Ji-hun completes a remarkable arc, starting as a selfish man and ending with a selfless act. He re-enters the game not for money, but to prevent others from being exploited and meeting tragic ends. And that's all the events that took place in Squid Game Season 1. Thanks for watching our video. We're Blockbuster Review. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for our latest uploads. We're grateful for your support as we aim for 1 million subscribers. Until next time, enjoy the movie.